everyone, and welcome back. Our last guest is a singer, songwriter, and producer from the Bronx whose passion for music started in the church, and he's performed with many gospel artists. But later he realized his calling was R&B music. And over the years, he's worked behind the scenes as a producer to local talent within the New York City area, and eventually released his own music, including his latest EP entitled Heart on My Sleeves. And joining us to tell us more, please welcome Winston Ward. Hey, Winston.
Hey, Rhina, how you doing?
What I really should have said was welcome back.
Yes.
Winston Ward. The last time we had you on was in 2014?
Yes. That was a while ago, but it's definitely good to be back though, for sure.
Well, we're happy to have you back under the circumstances because, you know, if I rewind back to 2014, I want to say we were in the studio.
We definitely were.
This in the studio. Not that I'm complaining about my remote studio.
Right.
But you look like you got a jazzy studio going on there.
Yeah. This is where I made my actual album, Heart on My Sleeves, and it's where I produce a lot of the other acts that I've been working with as well too.
So I'm gonna call it the cool blue because that's how I'm feeling looking over there. So how has that been for you, pivoting into producing and then having to manage everything remotely? And I'm talking about because you actually do the equalizing. I mean, I don't even know if that's the right language to use when it comes to
Right, no, you were right.
engineering, but I would imagine that's a little more challenging because you're also conducting it over Zoom. So how does that work?
I think the interesting part is we all had to get very creative, and I'm pretty sure like you and your team, we had to rely heavily on technology. So there were certain people who recorded out of their homes that we had to download specific technology so that I would be able to appropriately mix their tracks and things like that. And then obviously we'd have to hop on FaceTime and or Zoom to kind of make sure that we were on the same page creatively, because when we're in the studio together we can kind of build and vibe off the energy in here, but when there's like when we're working between screens, we kind of have to kind of manufacture that energy. So it took a little getting used to, but eventually things started picking back up.
So how much did you produce aside from yours of other artists did you produce within this past year?
Oh
like
man,
that. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's so crazy that you asked. Someone told me to put a playlist together, and I put a playlist together, and over the past 2 years, it's been over 150 songs. So I don't know how long it's been just for the 1 year, but
150 songs in the past year.
Yes, and those are just the songs that are out, or that have been released. There's more that just hasn't been released. So yeah, it's definitely been a labor of love.
I feel you. But let's just, I try looking at the upside of our circumstances. Do you think you would have produced 150 songs had we not been in this situation?
Yes. To be honest, I probably would have done more, because everyone didn't have. Because I'll be real, some of the equipment that we needed to buy or the technology that we needed to buy, it wasn't cheap. So certain people, I wasn't able to have sessions with certain people because they didn't have the equipment necessary,
right.
or they didn't feel safe coming into the studio. So I think if we weren't in this actual predicament, it probably would have been even more.
All right, I'll take that. I'll buy it, right? Because you just said something. The circumstances also forced you to buy additional equipment that perhaps you may not have bought because you had a studio to go and produce in. So that I tried looking at the upside. So now you have your own studio because of the circumstances. Is my point.
Exactly.
To the point that you have your own EP. No, this is so. I mean, because we're being bombarded with all this negative information, and I'm like, hey, let's talk about the flip side of it, and let's just really focus on what we did gain out of it, right? And
of course.
have this amazing EP, and we're gonna get a taste of it later. Let's talk about your process in that.
my process. So the one thing that I will say about this whole thing that happened, it kind of forced me to go inward. You know, when we were all outside, we were all into a whole lot of other different things. But you know, when you're home, when you're, you know, alone with your thoughts, it kind of forces you to kind of dig in and dig deep. That's the reason why I called it Heart on My Sleeves, because I was really able to bear my emotions on a lot of these songs. And I think that is what sparked it. You know, just me being home with my emotions, I was just like, you know what, let me write, let me get in the studio, let me record. And you know, that labor of love is what came out of it. Just, you know, my emotions on these songs, Heart on My Sleeves.
Heart on My Sleeves. So how many songs are there?
There's 6 songs.
6 songs. Look at that. And today we're gonna get a taste of one.
Yes.
So okay, so that's what's up. Okay, so then
Mm-hmm.
you wrote it, you produced it, you performed it, and now you have
Mm-hmm.
your EP. And then there's this technology that allows you to stream it through multiple platforms. You generate revenue independently.
Yes.
Hence, you know, really operating as an employed artist, we'll say.
Yes.
And producer, because
And
you're a
producer as
producer.
well too. Yes.
Right, because you have those 150 that you produced as well.
Yes. At least.
Well, quite the entrepreneur, if you ask me.
You gotta, and I think that's another thing that was forced out of this whole situation as well too. People had to kind of, you know, think on their feet, and they really had to revert back to what they were really good at. And thankfully, I was blessed with the talent of music, and obviously singing, of course, but you know, the other intangible things that come along with it as well.
That's wonderful. And it's wonderful that we have individuals such as yourself that make it your business to just transmit that healing vibration for all of us to enjoy together. So thank you.
Yes.
And you guys, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Winston is going to perform What is Love for us when he returns. Don't go anywhere.